Everybody, my name is Andrew Davis, and you are watching Conversations in Pop Culture. And yes, I am scandalous like an Ashley. And I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by Pocket Jack Comics, and they are heading to a local comic store near you this month and next month with some awesome, sexy covers. If you go to their website right now, pocketjackcomics.com, you can get a free preview PDF copy of some of their comics that you could check out and you can try before you buy it. And go bug your local comic shop for those books because they are sexy covers, and I do not think you'll be disappointed if you like bad girl sexy covers that depict women in a very powerful position. But enough about that, because I have with me Shawn, the owner of Comics Elite, the CEO and co-owner of Merc, the CEO and co-owner of Black Ops Publishing. I think you do Comics Elites Live. I think you used to do some stuff on YouTube with comics. You've done everything, and I'm probably missing like 17 of your titles while I'm at it. But I have been buying from you guys for a while, and you got a lot of stuff going on. And I do want to talk a lot about Double Impact, which is kind of the big thing you just did. But why don't you kind of give a little background on who you are for those who don't know you, which I think is far and few in between.
Sure. So I retired from the Marines after 24 years. And then I was already selling comics on Facebook in its infancy. Shifted from eBay to some of the groups when groups were brand new on Facebook. Long story there, but every time Facebook added a new feature, we tried to jump on it. We're one of the first to do live sales. We've done a new Comic Tuesday every single week for the last 7 years. I'm sorry, I was corrected the other day. It's been 8 years now. So we kind of started there, getting our name out there with selling new comics on Facebook and doing the live sales. And from there, it just grew into, we have 3 different Whatnot channels. We have a website. A few years ago, we either tied or we did the most DC variants of anybody in the world for that year, more Vampirella variants than anyone that year. Then we decided to get into our own publishing. Myself and Jamie Tyndall started Merc Publishing. We've had many, many successful Kickstarters. Everyone's been at least $50,000 that we've done. That spun off into Black Ops Publishing, on a printing company, lots of different things. So it's been fun.
Yeah, and then obviously, for those who don't know, Black Ops does Power Hour. I think you also do Jinkies, I want to say. And then Merc does Miss Meow. Do they do the Devil's Misfits or Mishaps?
So the Devil's Misfits is Jamie's personal project. Merc has Miss Meow, Death Rage, and Born of Blood. Where they all were distributed through Lunar. They're all in your comic shops. You might be able to even get some back issues through there. I forgot we did a little bit. We did a thing called Legends Publishing, where we helped publish books.
Right?
Guns and Angels was through Legends. We kickstarted that. That never made it to Lunar, but we did do Glopple, and that's a kid's book with Matt Cole, great title. And then we did Bone Check with Cameron Johnson, fantastic title. So we did a lot of stuff with them. We helped. We had the privilege of doing Carnal Confessions with Sora Sung, great title there also. All came out through Lunar. And then the tidal wave, I forgot about that. I just started. Darren, man, what a great guy. Darren Davis from Tidal Wave Comics. They've been doing biography comics for years and years and years. Taylor Swift came out, asked him, hey, I made a post. Everybody thought I was talking smack, but I wasn't. I was like, hey, I legitimately want to know how this is legal. How do you do this? Darren reached out to me. We had a phone call 2 hours later. I designed the website, Tidal Wave Comic Publishing, started a spin-off company from that. Darren still runs and owns everything. Nothing is done without his say. So he is the mastermind behind all of this. I'm just lucky to be able to help him with the website and do some other stuff.
You guys are very lucky that the Chiefs won. I'm just gonna let you know.
Well,
it helped.
We gambled with some covers. Like sat on some of those Chiefs covers for a while.
I took the gamble with you because the first half of that game was very nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking because I'm like, I think I'm gonna do fine either way. But I knew that when it tied up, I sold like 4 of them. I didn't even have them in my hand, and I sold 4 of them. And I'm like, yes, my gamble paid off.
Well, the Taylor Swift is actually going to an issue number 2. So issue 2 will have a nice big beefy cover set in time for C2E2. And we haven't fully announced a lot of this yet. I think we're leaking it here and there, but Michael Jordan biography will be out for C2E2 also. Working on Eminem for C2E2. And I am actually going back to an old title he did a long time ago. We're going to do some Metallica covers on the Metallica biography for C2E2 also. So Tidal Wave will be fully represented at C2E2 with all these covers. Pretty excited about it.
No, I like it. I mean, I like the fact that they did Kelsey, and I know in the long run all this stuff is going to do well for me. I know it, and I know that people want this stuff. And Sora Sung is a fantastic artist, and
she gets so much better and better every year. Every cover she gets, she's so good. I mean, she's a really cool person too. She's super cool. You know, I try not to work with jerks, so and when I work with is.
Let me ask you this, because I'm actually really curious, because you've been in comics way longer and you have way more connections than I do. But I've been fortunate enough that I've got to interview a lot of older legends like Denny O'Neil, Howard Cruz, Paul Levitz, Chuck Dixon, and Terry Cavanaugh and Tom DeFalco. But also I've interviewed a lot of new creators. And I would say if I interview 50 comic people, one of them is kind of an asshole. And it's tricky, where I've been lucky that it's a 2% to 4% conversion. But I don't know how you feel, because if that number went from me doing 100 people in comics every 2 years to doing 500, I'm going to expect that number to increase. And I try to systematically eliminate bad people in the industry. And I don't know how you figure that out, because I think it's a real problem right now in comics.
Well, so the majority, I mean, comics is, it just depends, I guess, is the right answer. It's not a sexy answer, but it's kind of the right answer. You know, a lot of creative types, artists and writers, they're can be quirky sometimes. We love them for that. You know, like that's why they have their creative brains. Their brains work in a way that my brain doesn't. I can't envision something and put it on a piece of paper or digitally create it. My brain's not wired that way, man. I can't do it. And I have mad respect for the creatives that can see that and do that and make that happen. Their brains are wired a very unique way, which is you know, they're lucky in my opinion. Good for them. The more of the jerks I've encountered have honestly, they've kind of been retailers. They've kind of been more of the jerks, because a lot of ego gets involved. You know, everybody wants an exclusive and they want their logo and their name on the cover, and they want to be the guy that has the hottest cover on the block. And I mean, we all do because we want to make money, but at the end of the day, man, nobody cares what's on the back of that cover. They just want what's on the front of that cover and what's on the inside of the book. I don't give a crap if it's who's selling it. You know, who cares if it's a Comic Slate exclusive? And those days are long past anyway. Of a store doing a cover by themselves for Marvel and DC, it's all conglomerates now. There's all 4 or 5 stores partnering together to split the print run, and then they're sub-wholesaling it to whatnot sellers and eBayers, and there's groups everywhere of people sharing and splitting covers. So the word exclusive, it's been misleading for a couple of years now, because it's rare that something is actually exclusive to a show or a con exclusive. This is a C2E2 exclusive. What do you do after the show? Do you destroy everything because it's exclusive to C2E2? No. You know, you can take them to the next con. You're putting them on your website. So,
yeah. I think it's tricky. And again, you're running, you know, a lot of things, and I run my eBay business, and I have learned that lesson. Very complicated. But I've also haven't been to a con in 5 years, and I get all these exclusives that I want to get. And it's kind of a double-edged sword for me.
Yeah.
And this is why, I mean, obviously I buy a lot from you guys, and I like buying your exclusives on things. And I know that I'm not expecting a Comics Elite exclusive to be at my local comic shop tomorrow. If it was, that'd be great, but I'm not expecting it.
Yeah.
And my local comic shop is in New York. It's not in Illinois or Chicago or the Midwest, or where you guys are located. But I think it's interesting, but I don't want to get too much into this because I want to talk about Double Impact.
Sure.
A lot, because I'm very excited. And I saw the Power Hour thing and I'm like, this name seems familiar. Is this Comics Elite taking the idea of it? Because I don't know if Double Impact was a trademark name. I don't know if
Mhm.
it was this. And I'm like, Shikari did it, but I don't really remember how Double Impact did. And then I looked up, I'm like, oh, now the thing dropped that you guys have acquired it. And so, how did all this come about? Because Double Impact is a 90s comic.
Yeah.
It was active for a while, then it went away. Then I think it was brought back on Kickstarter with Ricky. And then that thing, obviously, something happened in Ricky's life that I don't think is a secret, but I don't want to get too much into that because I don't know how much I can reveal
Mhm.
for those who don't know. And then you guys bought it. And so it's kind of like a crazy thing where I think like got a 30-year history, give or take.
Yeah, it's during the 90s, the bad girl comic phase, you know, it was right there, right there with Lady Death and Danger Girl and some of those bad girl comics that were out on the shelves and selling hundreds of thousands of copies. It's crazy what those guys lived through. And then we all know the covers. Buy a collection from somebody and you'll find one or two Double Impact covers in there, and they were awesome at the time. I don't know how much weight they hold nowadays with the cover artist increasing in talent, and so yeah. But like you hinted at it already, it's no secret, it's very public knowledge. Ricky's adult son passed away tragically in a car accident, and he was shopping around the property, I guess, and somebody told him to reach out to me. He looked up on Facebook. First person he saw was my wife. He messaged my wife. She actually made the connection with me, and we talked. We talked on the phone for probably, yeah, that first phone call was probably a 5-6 hour phone call. We connected on many levels, personal, business, and we worked out a deal for Double Impact. And the deal changed several times over the months. At first it was 50%, then it went a little higher and other things. And we worked out a deal to where we just owned the whole thing. The whole IP is what I wanted. So, and really, like, IPs are tricky because, what's it worth? It's like a stock. It's just floating, it's like a penny stock, with what's it really worth? I've heard of people getting cartoon and movie and TV deals, and at the end of the day, they get a check for $20,000. It's like you're not a millionaire because you sold an IP. Those days are long gone. So it depends. But anyway, yeah, and then it's been a year since we've had this, and we haven't revealed anything. We've been working on the story. We've been working on how it ties into the Black Ops universe, because it will tie into a shared universe that Black Ops has with Jinkies and Jesse Zombie Hunter and Queens of Dixie, and Power Hour possibly. So they'll all tie together eventually.
Yeah. Let's actually talk about this because obviously you had it for a year or
Mhm.
around that time working on it. And the way that you introduced it, I actually thought was very interesting to the world is that you put it in a preview copy of Power Hour. And I don't think Power Hour is an anthology book. That's
Well, no, so it's Double Impact they're printing probably Friday all those preview copies. So it's a preview copy of Power Hour. Oh, I'm sorry, of Double Impact.
what I was getting at is that it's not a copy of Power Hour. It's a preview copy of Double Impact, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
And so I thought it was just interesting to introduce a property in a product and a cover that I'm familiar with, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense.
Yeah,
Because you put it on a Power Hour book, and I know Power Hour, and I know people collect Power Hour, and people enjoy those covers. And I thought that was a very cool way how to introduce it into what everybody was kind of, cool. I know product A, I know this is Black Ops, but this is a brand new product. And I
yeah,
thought that was very clever in
yeah,
that regard. And then using Shikari too
yeah,
also helps. Because nothing against any other artist, but if you were to use TriStar or Tristan Thompson, I don't know if it would have had, no pun intended, the same impact. It would
yeah,
have had a single impact.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry, everybody. I just couldn't resist.
Wah, wah. Good one, good one. No, Tristan is. I mean, nobody. of
I
course,
love
not
I
taking
love
anything away from
Tristan
Tristan.
Thompson.
Yeah, he's
The comic
fantastic.
artist, not the basketball player.
Oh man, Tristan TriStar Thompson, uh, super great guy, hyper talented. Um, but I mean, Shikari's just he's the top. I mean, nobody is holding a candle to what he's creating now, and everybody knows it. That's why he was so sought after. That's why I fought so hard to try to get him exclusively to my companies.
Why do you think I
So
wanted to interview Shikari? I've asked like 19 times. It's so hard.
it
So hard.
is. Well, the thing was,
He's so nice about it, though. He's so nice about it.
Shikari has got to be one of the nicest people. I've never heard Shikari's voice. Never heard his voice. Never had a conversation with him in person. He lives in a small island off the coast of India. He is extremely introverted. I've offered him lots of money to come to the States and come to a convention, a New York, a San Diego, a C2E2, a MegaCon, and he just talking about it almost puts him into a panic. Like he's please don't pressure me into doing this. I am not comfortable doing it. We talked about before the show started about how unique the creative mind can be. Um, you know, he's not leaving that island anytime soon. So he's all over social media though. He'll pop into a YouTube show. He comments on people's posts. He promotes his stuff very well. He's worked in obviously Shikari's not his real name, obviously. You can find his real name. It's out there. He's worked in the game industry for a long, long time. So yeah, Shikari needed to get the double impact. I needed a Shikari cover. And he did such a good job. Wait till you see the one he did for the Kickstarter, because that one we pulled was just for the preview issue. The Kickstarter one it's just stunning. I mean, wow. Very excited to reveal it to everybody.
I'm excited. I'm excited for my copies of the preview issue with Shikari. I'm definitely keeping a set for me, and then I will flip a set because I know it's money. I know it's money, and I have no problem admitting that, and I have no problem telling you that either openly.
Well,
I'm
good.
selling your books anyway, and I mean, let's just say I do all right with most of them. I'd say about 85 to 90% of the covers I buy from you guys, I make way more than I should.
That's good to hear. That means people want it. People are. You're a seller. I'm a seller. I started doing the same stuff, man. Flipping books, buy it from here, sell it there for more. And it's shocking to me how a book will be going on eBay for a lot of money, and I still have 5-10 copies on my website at regular price, and people are paying double on eBay because they just want to buy it from people. They have their buying habits. They like what they like to buy. They like to buy on eBay. They like their certain sellers. They wait for them to have it. So if there's money to be made out there, so be it.
It's interesting because I have a theory on this. So I'll show this book. So this is book number 1. All this, I don't know if everybody can see it. Hopefully everybody can see that. Sorry if you can't. So I have a bunch of those books, and we're going to talk about that book in a little bit later because it's interesting because everybody's going to want that book. But the thing is that somebody and my buyers know that I sometimes get really low numbers from books like Mount Olympus. I tend to get low numbers because I have good relationships with certain companies. So they would rather say, I know Andrew's going to get a 1 out of 10 out of 65, and I want a low number. So I want number 2 or I want number 3 because they think there's more value in that. And so that's something that a lot of my buyers are accustomed to. And sometimes, every once in a while I don't get a low number, but a lot of the time I do. And so they say, cool, Shawn has a bunch of copies, but I don't know what number it is.
Yeah.
And somebody says, I want the number 1, and I'm willing to pay you an extra $30 or $40 for that number 1.
Yeah.
That's happened. Or a number 2 is that, and like I buy numbered cards, and it's the same thing. And so somebody's willing to pay a premium for a low number. Like I buy Leaf Metal anime cards, and I pulled 7 out of 95.
Nice.
Somebody's willing I pulled a 2 out of like 46.
That's awesome.
I kept that one for myself. But the point is that I pulled a 5 out of 95, and so he's like, yo, I'll pay you an extra $5 if you get me a low number.
Nice.
So I think that's part of it too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Could
that's
be.
just my thoughts, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
it could be. People want we hold our integrity very high with our all the stuff that we do. I've known the people that do, well, this is limited to 20, and then they only post 19 because they always keep number one for themselves. If if it's one of whatever, they should have an opportunity to buy those limited numbers. Everybody should have a shot to get number one or number two or number six or whatever it is. All the Tidal Wave covers, all the Taylor Swift covers, all the number 13s, they shipped. I was totally random. I didn't pay any attention to the names. Everything was pulled in order. Foil number, metal number, color number, no matter what it was, because that's, if you don't know, Swifties love number 13. That's their number. Most sought after one. They all shipped. I don't keep any for myself. Same with the number ones. I don't hold anything back. They ship. We do pH 1 through 5. If it's a power hour, and those are the publisher copies. So every cover has a pH 1 through 5. I keep pH number 1 for myself. I have long boxes of number ones, pH number 1. 2, 3, and 4 and 5, they go to the Whatnot sellers, the Facebook Live sellers. They auction them off for a premium. We don't put them on eBay because I try to let guys like you have that aftermarket. I want you to live in the aftermarket. I won't go on their day of launch and post one of our covers for cover price because that destroys the aftermarket, really. Like, I'm going to if you want to buy the cover at cover price, go to my website. You can buy it from comicselitecomics.com or mercpublishing.com or blackopspublishing.com for cover price. We're not going to try to put it all over the place. And, you got to let flippers have their space.
It's interesting because I speak to people and I've had relationships end with people because they hate the fact that I flip. And it's like, I'm like,
cares?
look, it's not my fault that I try to keep my prices as reasonable as I can.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not my fault that a Shikari book was bought for $20 or 25 or 30 and now it's going for 90. How is
Mm-hmm.
that my fault? And then I'll try to sell for 80 because I want to undercut my competition.
Yeah.
And how is that my fault? That what am I supposed to do? Sell it for $40 and make $3 on it when it's
Yeah.
low market? Like,
The more success you have, the more haters you're going to have. So the more people that don't like what you do, of course, as long as you're keeping your honor clean and you're keeping your integrity, yeah, screw those guys, man. Who cares what they say? If they, how many people I thought were my friends that I've lost because
I'm sorry. I thought we were friends. No.
it's just, yeah, those people are just jealous and they're haters. Oh, you're taking everything. There's a few terms that I hate on that topic real quick. A few terms that I hate. I hate when people say in comics or anything, oh, that's just a cash grab. A cash grab? You mean people are trying to make money? Everything, this is America. Everything in this country, we're capitalism. Everything is trying to make money. Oh, how come they put out cars in different colors? It's a cash grab. How come you can buy different colored pens? It's a cash grab. I mean, it's so stupid when you think about that, right?
I will challenge you on one position.
Please do.
That. So what I'm in a situation where I think somebody is doing a cash grab.
Okay.
So they launched the Kickstarter, they funded, and they were trying to do a graphic novel, and they raised $9,000.
Okay.
Then they basically said, we're going to relaunch it and break up that graphic novel into 3 separate issues without releasing the graphic novel. And to me, that's unethical, and that's kind of a cash grab because they said the money got stolen. I don't know how true that is. So I think there are cash grabs sometimes when people are saying, we launched the graphic novel, and then we're going to launch the graphic novel again on Kickstarter.
Well, I wouldn't say that the cash grab. I would just call that theft.
Fair enough.
To be honest with you, like
I will rescind my challenge. I will lose a timeout. How does that sound?
if something got funded, it needs to ship. Period. Oh, the money got stolen. That's a you problem. That's a you problem, man. My money needs to be, if a bank gets robbed, say, sorry, man, your money's gone. Now that's the risk of Kickstarter, right? Yeah, that's the risk,
right?
Yeah, and then hopefully people are smart enough to be like, you know what, fool me once, shame on me, or whatever. You're not gonna fool me again, George Bush line, right? You're not gonna fool me again. Um, yeah, just don't fall for that. I would not support that dude at all. I'd be blasting those people all over the place. There's no
I'm
point.
a nicer person. I'm a nicer person than that, and I really do not like to air my public grievances all
Yeah.
that often. And I do not like to start wars with people for a good reason because I don't know who I'm going to upset. I don't want to upset anybody who can help me. I
That's
mean,
smart.
I do business with a lot of people, and there's a reason why I don't roast people publicly. And
Mhm.
it's very rare that I will attack somebody
That's
publicly.
smart. That's smart. I probably should have taken that advice a few times in my life. I
Because
can be
I'll be honest, I don't know who you're friends with, and I don't know who other people are friends with, and if I attack somebody you're friends with, so I think I can mention Jamie. I love Jamie
Mhm,
Tyndall, but if I attack Jamie, I don't know how that affects me buying from Comics Elite,
mhm.
and I do a lot of business with you, and I'm happy to buy from you on retail because I like a lot of your covers for my personal collection, and so I never had an issue with Merc. And I don't have any issue with Merc. I want to make that crystal clear. I don't have an issue with Comics Elite, but I don't know who people are friends with. And all of a sudden, I attacked the wrong person. And now I might have just cost myself $7,000 that
Yeah,
year in profit. So I'd rather have my money. And if I have a real issue with somebody, maybe we'll talk about it privately, or I'll just bitch to a friend of mine about it. And then I'll just get it out of my system and then we're done. But I didn't do anything publicly destructive.
mhm. Yep. No, that's smart. That's a smart way to be. Just focus on I'm gonna take a line from Jesse James. He says, always be selling, right? Don't He doesn't get involved in drama. He doesn't comment on shit. He just sells comics. Just that's their beef. That's their problem. You
I mean,
know.
I stay out of it as much as I can, but there's certain things that I'm very passionate about. If
Oh
we're
yeah,
having
same
a
here.
Dragon Ball Z debate, I mean, it's game on.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
we're having a One Piece discussion, it's game on, guys.
Not an
But
anime guy, so I'm safe there.
but no, and also, I have certain cover artists that I think are arguably some of the best in the world
Mhm.
that I'm a huge fan of, and I'm like, I love their work, and if I have to pick between 7 covers, I'm going with them just because I like their work.
Nice,
So
nice.
so so but that's also an opinion. That's
Yeah,
not if I lose a friend because I'm a fan of Elias Chazoudis, I'm sorry. I don't know what to
yeah.
tell you.
That guy wasn't a friend in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting because getting back to Double Impact though,
Mhm,
because what I like is that obviously I think you're redoing the whole story. You're making it
mhm.
your own as, Black Ops, and it's gonna be its own book. It's not gonna
Yep.
be under Power Hour. It's gonna
Nope.
be its own thing. So what is that like too? Because you get to take what's been done, but you also get to create a new fun story with certain new things in there, certain
Yeah.
old things. And, obviously Dynamite did that with Bad Kitty. And
Mhm.
it's interesting when you get to kind of pay, I guess, tribute to the 90s, but also bring it to your version of Double Impact.
Yeah. No, it's fun. I tell you that. It's a lot of fun. That's one of the reasons why I wanted the entire IP because if somebody even you get 51% your majority owner, you can do what you want. But if somebody owns any part of that, it just can be you're butting heads on this. They don't like that. They're going to do this. Now there's all of a sudden you're tied up in lawsuit deals and you can't do crap. So, um, it's great. The guy who wrote it, Neil Edmond, he's fantastic. He wrote Jinkies. He wrote Devil's Misfits for Jamie. He wrote Jesse Zombie Hunter. He is the head writer at Black Ops. The guy is phenomenal writer. He also works for Storm King, so he's written for he regularly works for John Carpenter's company and writes horror titles for them. The guy's just great writer, cool guy too, cool person. So this we had a couple ideas. He took it and ran with it. Made a new character for the book too. There's 2 new characters going to be introduced in Double Impact #1, along with the girls, and it's it's super exciting and fun. Super exciting and fun.
And then even going further into that too, I mean, I don't want to ruin too much of it, but it's going to be its own book. You're obviously going to be kickstarting it, and Kickstarter is, I think, amazing in a lot of ways because I think it allows for you guys do great stretch goals. Um,
Yeah.
And I'm going to be on the lookout for that, in which that I can't back as many Kickstarters as I would like to back.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it's economics are tricky. Um,
Yeah.
I need to stop buying from Comics Elite and back more of your Kickstarter. No. It's terrible. The way my day went today is I thought I had 6 months on a problem. I have 18 months on a problem. I
Oh
don't want to
boy.
get too much into it. I'm sure my Friday night will explain that. Um,
Mm.
but the point is that I'm very excited for this Kickstarter because I'm very interested, and I'm probably going to be spending a good 150 on your Kickstarter for Double Impact.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good. We have so many great covers. What's difficult is trying to decide what's going to be in the campaign, how are those going to be used, because I try to be very aware of people's wallets, right? Your pocketbook. If everything is super limited and everything is super expensive, that's not cool, right? So you want to have a range of things. You want to be able to have the super limited cool variant because you got to appeal to those collectors that want the limited super cool stuff. Then you got to have the other stuff that's also super cool, but it's $10, and then everything in between. Your super mega tier that gets all the things and this thing and that thing, and it's $1,500, and then you got your $10 or just a digital copy for $5.
Let's actually talk about that because I'm curious how you feel about this. Is that I think there is a structure to a Kickstarter.
Hmm.
And I'm a big fan of funnels, and I love funnelytics, and
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of ClickFunnels, and I think it's interesting how you get somebody into your chain. And my theory, and what I try to tell people, and I did a Kickstarter for this show, and I did fund, but it was not fun to do it, and I'm never going to do it again. I would rather take a sponsorship route, way
Yeah,
less stressful, way more money at the end of the day. But what I try to
maybe.
explain to people is that don't you want to get in somebody into your new property for $10? And then maybe the next time they come back and say, I really like this product. And now they bump up to 20,
Hmm.
and you're keeping and you're growing your backer count, and you're growing the value of your backer.
Hmm.
Because I think that's how you grow. I think that's one way how you grow. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But
Yeah.
to me,
Well, you're right, man. I mean, what's your cost per acquisition? So how much are you spending to get a customer, right? And then you want to keep that as low as possible. Once you get that customer, now you got to keep that customer by offering a quality product, superior customer service, great shipping, service after the sale. When they open up that package, they got to be happy. And then you got to re-engage those customers to remind them that you exist and you're relevant. You know, um, you sell one piece of paper to one person. What else are you going to sell? What else you got? Are you just a one trick pony? So I could go on and on and on about the theory of sales and I love they said the funnels. A lot of people don't even know what that is. It's super important if you're going to understand it. Um, a lot of people think doing Kickstarters is it's like a field of dreams. Build it and they will come. Right? All I got to do is have this artist and get this title and a cool logo, and my Kickstarter is going to make a lot of money.
I'm
And they
learning that the
don't.
hard way. I'm
You
learning
know,
that the hard way.
yeah. And even if you have a campaign, let's say you make $5,000, you're broke. You don't have $5,000. Kickstarter takes a cut. If you use BackerKit, they take a cut. You got to print the books. You got to ship the books. You got to buy boards and bags. You got to pay to get the book created, which is penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, production. I mean, you got to pay shipping on getting the books to you. You got to sort through the damages, and then what's your time worth? How much are you paying per Gemini? What's your cost per board and bag? People don't know these
I mean,
things.
we could go even further. Is that let's say you did 10,000 and you had 400 backers and each got one comic. Do you pump up your order from 400 to 1,000
Yeah,
copies?
that's
Because
another part is how do you when you we can get into this whole thing when you order the books, where you're printing them at. If you're doing digital, which most people do digital because they can't afford the numbers for offset. If you're not doing 3,000 with offset, first off, good luck getting in with those big printers. That time's all booked up with somebody else. So, you're not getting your book printed for 35 cents or 50 cents. It's not happening because you got to place an order for at least 10,000 books. And then you got to know somebody to get you time on those big printers up in Canada. That stuff's all booked in advance by the Marvels and the DCs and the Dynamites and the Images of the world. That that stuff's all taken up. You're not getting those books printed. So now you're looking at digital printing. You're looking at $3, $4, $5, depending on what you're doing with your books, on how thick they are and how many pages per book. It's a lot, man. It's a
And
lot.
then it gets more complicated. Is that, let's say you're doing a graphic novel and you're going to be printing 4,000 copies. Do you go to China?
I'd say right now, if anybody does a first Kickstarter as a graphic novel, what do you even? You deserve to fail. Sorry, but what are you thinking?
I'm not even
Right?
talking about a first one. I'm talking about just doing a graphic novel and you have 6
Mhm,
issues and you're putting it in, and it's your 7th or your 12th campaign. But
mhm,
like, my mom published a book. It's a cocktail book dealing with postcards, and the book was printed in China, but it
mhm.
was through a publisher. And the reason I bring this up is that if you're publishing, I mean, this is a real question, is that, well, where do you go to, print? Because are you
Yeah.
going to go to China? Are you going to stay in the States, going up to those big printers up in Canada?
Mhm.
And I know way less about that than I know anything else. But
Well, you
these
can
are
go to
great questions, right?
yeah. I mean, yeah, we've explored all those. You can go to China if you want to. You're not going to do FOC books through China. You're not going to go the distribution route. You can go direct if you order through China. However, um, you're going to have a lot of damages. You're going to pay a lot. Shipping's either going to take forever because you're going to put it on a boat, or you're going to pay a ton and put it on a plane. Um, getting your the time frame slows way down, right? Give me a sample of the book. Okay, now you're waiting for that book to be printed and shipping to China. Um, you run the risk of, if you don't know who you're dealing with and talking to, you run the risk of your IP just blatantly being stolen. Go to AliExpress or Alibaba or some of these places, and you can order IPs of Marvel or DC characters that they don't have licenses to print those items. Um, I've seen artist work being stolen. You can buy prints from there. It's tons of risk printing with China. I'd rather just have more control of what you're doing. Just plan it right. Know your cost up front.
I mean, where I'm going with this is that it's tricky to run a Kickstarter. I ran one for this podcast,
Mhm,
so I had only digital products. And so I was selling, guaranteed guest spots, because when you're doing 150 people, you have to pick and choose. And if somebody wants an exact time frame for $10, for some people that might be worth it, because I get booked up quick sometimes. And
mhm.
it's not, and now I don't want to go to Kickstarter again because I want more control over my show. And
Yeah,
I'm extremely selective, and it's very rare that I will take a random person hitting me up. It is incredibly rare now. And I
yeah,
like it because I get to choose who I want to speak to, because my time is valuable.
yeah.
And I don't mean to sound conceited when I say that, because I
You're
know
right.
every time is valuable, but I know that I don't have to grant time to people I don't want to speak to.
Mhm. Yeah.
And,
No,
and,
you're
and
right.
I'm sure you feel the same way to some degree.
Yeah, you don't owe anybody anything. I mean, some people want to come on a show just to talk about their product or advertise something for free. Their Kickstarter's failing. I need someone to back my Kickstarter or whatever. Like, yeah, people are very usy out there and take advantage of you a
I,
lot.
I I have been to a point where I don't mind it being uneven. I mind it being 100 to 0.
Mhm.
So if it's 90-10, I'm okay with that. 90% in the favor of my guest. But if you're not really even bringing 10% to me, I mean, there gets a point where there's got to be some exchange here.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But the reason why I think it's interesting is that I think you guys have figured out how to do Kickstarter right in a lot of ways and have a lot of value to it.
Mhm.
And, again, though, it's interesting because you want the $10 book, but you want the $250 package,
Yep.
and you want
Yeah.
everything in between, because somebody might say, look, I only want a $50, cool, comic in the box, which is what
Mhm.
you guys do a lot of.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have, well, it's a lot of work. Before I did a first Kickstarter, before we started Merc, Jamie Tyndall had already done tons of Kickstarters with his art books. He had his fan base for his art as an artist. And I already had a Comics Elite's website, which was a juggernaut in itself, with the emailing list and everything else. So we just had the reputation of both those businesses, they both came together, and the promotional power of me and Jamie together really pushed that over the top. There are other creators I talk to, some for extensive amounts of time, about working together, about partnering up, about doing something higher than just me doing exclusives of their properties and doing, and everyone was just like, man, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. And Jamie, during COVID, um, me and Jamie were driving to meet each other. I live in Indiana. He lived in Illinois. We met in the middle. We'd shoot the shit at a gas station. We'd exchange books. He'd sign stuff for me. I picked stuff up from him. And then we're talking about, wouldn't it be cool if we tried this? Wouldn't this be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? And one day I just looked at him and I said, why don't we just do this? Like, yeah, it would be cool. What's stopping us? Like,
So,
there's nothing stopping us from doing
let
this.
me ask this. Let me ask this because I have a 50-50 partnership with my Friday show. And what we do is that we stream it on both of our platforms, and his audience is coming in and my audience is coming into his. And we're not making any money doing it, but we just decided to do it. And, I've extended other invitations to people, and people don't want to work with me. And
Mhm.
I'm curious why you think that is, because I understand it's fearful sometimes to say, look, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't
Mhm.
know Sean that well. So how are we going to figure this out? And what happens if it goes south and my baby dies? For
Yeah.
lack of a better word. So I get
Well,
that. But
I
I
mean,
also,
it
yeah,
it it it's the WIFM, right? WIFM, what's in it for me, right? So, let's say I have a podcast or whatever I'm doing, and you wanna work with me, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at how many viewers, how many subs, what do you have, blah, blah, what's in it for me? Because most people, I mean, most streamers and YouTubers that I know, they try to make money doing this, you know? And I did YouTube for about a year. You don't make a lot of money doing doing YouTube stuff unless you're trying to get, it takes a long time to build an audience, especially if you're in the comic space, right? If you're in the political space, or you're making commentary on current events, or talking about fashion or some other crap where all the
got
money is, you
stocks,
know.
those things, Bitcoin,
Yeah,
crypto.
Bitcoin. Oh, I watch tons of I'm a big crypto guy. I watch all the Bitcoin dudes.
I love it. I love it. I'm a huge
Yeah,
guy. I'm not an NFT guy. I had
yeah.
a bad exit. I had a bad NFT while it got hacked. Don't want to talk about it. It was
Oh
painful.
man. Well, we can do a whole nother stream talking about NFTs and crypto someday if you want to. But um, yeah, it's what's in it for me. Why should I work with? I turn down partnerships all the time because what why would I take it, in a 6-hour window, I can do this thing and I can make this much money. Why would I take that 6-hour window and do something for slash with you to make the same amount of money and then give you half of it? So
See,
what are you bringing to the table to make me want to work with whatever person this is? But I got this idea for a comic. Everybody has an idea for a comic, man. I don't give a shit about that. Not to sound like a jerk, but everybody has an idea. It'd be really cool. No, man, tell me what would be really cool. Be really cool is if someone did a thing and they did this and this and this and this. That sounds great, man. You should do that. Oh, well, I was just telling you because maybe you would want to do that. You can just take my idea and do it. No, man, there's a reason why I'm not doing that thing. Like, you should do that thing, you know?
so,
Um,
so I mean, I can tell you why I have a partnership with my host on Friday nights. He has 30,000 TikTok followers, and he has a personality that works with me, and we feel comfortable with each other. And he can't do the show without me, and I can't do it without him.
that's
And
cool.
we're just having a good time, and we have the same sense of humor, which is 90s SNL, and we're just talking about wrestling and other pop culture events, and we're having a good time. And apparently it's slowly working, but it
Good.
works. And so but he doesn't have a big following on YouTube, and he's also entering a sector that is way more in my space. So with his audience is he's getting an expertise, and then when we stream it on TikTok or parts of it on TikTok, we're bringing in a different viewership. And so now you have an expert with somebody who has a following who's trying to convert his following into a weird position. So it's really interesting how it works, but that's the what if, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the with them. I mean, good for you. You know, you're doing it because it's fun. You having fun doing it. That's step number one, man. Are you having fun? If you're having fun and you're doing it and you want to put time into whatever it is, right? You from doing your own show, talking about pop culture to making your own makeup brand or whatever you're going to do in your life, right? If you are passionate about it and then you put time into it, um, and you're not an idiot business person, you'll make money doing it. It just a lot of people don't have the discipline to stick with it. So good for you for finding the dude you want to work with. You enjoy working with each other. You're having fun doing it.
It's only an
That's
hour and a half on a Friday night, and we're both getting hammered doing it.
living the dream, man. That's great.
I was gonna drink anyway by myself, so I might as well.
Hmm.
So I'm really killing like 6 birds with 1 stone. It's amazing.
That's a lot of birds.
It is. It is. It's really, really complicated because we hit the first bird, then it ricochets off. I mean,
Yeah, that's a hell of a shot.
it's amazing. It's amazing. But
Yeah,
we're getting back to Double Impact. So obviously the preview covers dropped, which is the close-ups, which is what you guys are now known for. Then you do the full set. I only
yeah,
bought the full set. I had to pick and
nice.
choose, and I like the full set more.
Hmm.
Um, and then you released something today, and I don't know
Yep.
if all of them are sold out, but it was with Rachie or Faces
Yeah,
by Rachie or Rachel Holland.
yeah. Rachel Holland, Faces by Rachie. She's the most published cosplayer ever, ever. She has more cosplay covers than by far than any other cosplayer ever has. She's every week you can see her on tons of Dynamite titles. Red Sonja, Vampirella, anything they're doing at Dynamite,
Yeah, I
she's
mean,
going to be
you
on
did
it.
something with Steph Sugar too. I was supposed to interview Steph Sugar.
Nice.
So that was the day that her Instagram account got hacked, like 3 years
Mm,
ago, and she had to rebuild it up. And we were supposed to do something, and it never happened. And if she wants to come on, she's more than welcome to come on anytime. But
nice.
I like Steph Sugar a lot.
Yeah.
I have those. I have 3 of those too. Those were 25. What was it? Freddy Cougar and Jason.
Yeah. Yep. That was a fun one to do. That was fun. And then, she started doing she started doing some of the naughty covers too, which is also, kind of unique. So I'm okay pushing boundaries and pushing limits, and so was she. And we had lots and lots and lots of conversations about it, and she was okay doing it. So I treat her stuff very respectfully. You don't see that cover if it is a naughty cover. You don't see it until you get it in the mail. There's no sneak peek on the website. You can see the naughty Chikaris on the website. But
This,
not hers.
this is what pisses me off, right? So I have the Power Hour Wonder Woman of her.
Nice.
And this is my issue is that I have the regular and I have the naughty. And every time I put the naughty up, because I sometimes take it on and off eBay, he's like, could you send me a full picture of it? I'm like, no,
They
just
just want to
no.
see the cover.
I'm going to say this the nicest way I could say it, and hopefully I'm not going to get you or me in trouble. I'm not going to go send a nude picture through eBay.
Mhm.
I don't know who's on the other end of that position. It's
Yeah.
censored on eBay, and I'm like, you can buy it and you can see it and look at it and do whatever you want with the book.
Yep.
But I'm not gonna go send a nude picture
Mhm.
to somebody I don't know, and I try to treat it as respectfully as I can.
Yeah. I do the same thing. I don't show it. Even my wholesalers, I have a little wholesale group. Um, Very small, very limited. If they don't buy into a cover, if I do offer it, they don't see it, period. Like, and they have very strict rules. You don't show this anywhere if it's uncensored, even on whatnot, that's all covered up. If she's at a booth at a convention, um, there's one cover we have that they can see, but it's under the table and they got to ask. And depending who it is, most time the answer is no. Can I open this up and look at it? No. You can buy it and then open it up and look at it.
So I mean, you with those covers, I mean, you have the nice version out, and you say there's a nude version of this too, right?
Yeah.
So they it's not like this is in a black bag, for instance, and they have no idea what it's going to look like. There's a version of it that's out there, right?
Mhm.
and then there's a
Yeah.
nude version. So they're not blind boxing,
No.
right?
No, just little strategically placed little circles in the right places.
I'm asking because I'm just making sure I understood.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Yeah, is they see 90% of the cover. You just don't see those two spots that you really want to see.
No,
You
I
know,
was asking because I think it is a good position. I just want to make sure that it's
yeah.
crystal clear for everybody watching that it's not like in a black poly bag and they have no idea what
No,
they're getting.
no, they know they see the vast majority of that cover.
Oh no, I was
Absolutely.
just asking to make sure
Yeah,
because
no,
again,
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yep.
so no, but I mean because you just released that and then even on the website it was pretty covered up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then there's I will tell you there's two more covers, preview covers coming out before the Kickstarter. One is a Piper Rudich cover. Um, we are doing a box of this Piper Rudich cover. It's going to be limited only 100. That will be split. I'm pretty sure. Got to check the numbers. It'll be split between Comics Elite and Black Ops Publishing websites. And then there's one more cover next week, Greg Bow preview cover, or cover for the preview edition. And then all these preview editions they're already at the printer being printed. The boxes arrived today for the Shikari preview cover that we did. This box stickers arrived also. There's always a delay on some of the metals, but we're really pushing to try to get those metals up out to people. But the goal is to have them shipped to everybody by the end of this month. That way they have them in hand either before the Kickstarter starts or right after the Kickstarter starts. So they can kind of get a preview of what our interior art's beautiful. It's by Dave Santana. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it.
I mean you guys are pretty good at that. You guys are pretty fast.
Yeah, we try to, I see a lot of
So the metals are usually the slowest ones for
yeah,
me.
metals are definitely
And
slow.
I'm not attacking you. I'm just telling you to be honest that I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah,
I learned a very valuable lesson that you have to, as somebody who sells books, you got to put 40 or 50 days out on eBay.
yeah. Metals are tough, and it's picking up. They're getting quicker. Um, the metal production team that we work with, they hired more people, and they are catching up pretty quick. So it's hopefully, knock on wood here, by the end of March, I'm sorry, by the end of April, it's going to take about another 30, 45 days. We should be turning around all books within 2 weeks of offering them for sale. Hopefully.
No, I feel you in which I've never printed a book. I don't know if I have a desire to do a comic. It seems so hard.
It
And
is, man.
I would much rather buy an exclusive, to
Yeah.
be honest. And I'd much rather be like, hey, how much would it cost for me to do a cover Miss Me Out? Be
Mhm.
for my own. So I'd rather do that route. And I'm using that as an example.
Mhm.
But I am nowhere near ready for that either. I
Yeah.
am nowhere near ready for that. I am a year or two out, and that's me being generous to me.
That's
You know,
smart. That's smart. A lot of people, I've seen it happen so many times, man. People jump the gun. They jump the gun. They want to do their own exclusive. Like I said, ego, right? They want their name on the book and they have this idea. And then they realize that, I'm like, look, man, you want to, even if you do a small print run, 50 copies, 25 copies. Well, then I ask them, well, do the math. How much did you pay for that cover art? How much are you going to pay for printing? How much is a copy per book? How much does Merc Publishing charge for their exclusive program? So you're paying X amount per book and you're selling it for this much. How many do you have to sell to hit zero? And then if you do hit your goal to hit zero, whose goal is to break even and not make any money? Nobody.
so I'm in a unique position because I have a business that can absorb volatility. And if I'm looking at it on a long run, I would rather lose money on the first cover, but build a
Mhm.
name that, oh, Pop Anime Comics Collectibles, which is my eBay store, carries this, or my whatnot carries this.
That's
And then
smart.
all of a sudden, you're building a brand up. But also, I am fortunate enough that my business can absorb volatility. So
Yeah.
I can afford to take those risks, but I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just in the last year figured out how to do better. And again, though, I am really thinking about this and I am not ready. Me buying out a print run is dangerous enough.
Yeah.
And that's me just deploying $280 worth of capital.
Yeah.
That's a big step.
Yeah.
So again, I think sometimes people forget that maybe you ought to buy out 10 of a book and then see how those do and do that for a while and then slowly graduate.
Yeah. No, that's real smart, Andrew, because i-
As
if
long as I
you
don't have to do it with you guys, I'm okay.
no, it takes time because you may not sell out of that first print run, but when you launch the second book, people are going to buy the first book along with the second book. And then you launch your third cover, they're going to buy the first and second cover, especially if you somehow theme them out. Like look at the Naughty Princess covers by Shikari. I just revealed the up close variant of the fourth one. I don't have any left of the first two. I think I have some left of the Cinderella one, but the first two have been sold out for a very long time. So anyone that's going to want these by June or July, when cover 5, 6, 7 comes out, whoever owns those is going to own that aftermarket on those books for the completionists that want the complete set.
I have an idea for a Do You Poo book with Marat,
Mm-hmm.
and they are definitely themed, and I am keeping that close to the vest for a reason because I think that if I do it, people are gonna be like, okay, this first idea is a little interesting, and then when
Mm-hmm.
they go to the second and the third, they're like, oh, I get it, and I'm probably gonna hold back 20 and massively increase the price when that moment hits.
Yeah.
And so, but again, I am a year, 2 years out minimum. I am nowhere near ready on a capital level, and
Mhm.
I'm probably in the next 18 months going to go through a major life change where I'm probably going to be buying a house. So
Nice.
I'm 31 by the time I'm 32, 33. Summer of 2025, I'm probably going to be a homeowner. So I am really, really saying if I don't get to do it until I'm 35, I'd rather own part of my house.
Yeah.
I digress, but
No, that's smart. That's smart. You got a good business head on your shoulders, man. Just follow your gut, follow your instincts, do something when you're ready. As you know, don't invest anything that you can't afford to lose, right?
I guess. But I do want to touch up on one more topic because
Sure.
it's going to benefit my business, and it's this cover. And
Nice.
I know. I'm kind of putting you on a weird spot
Not at
because
all.
I'll explain. So I bought out all 10 of these, but this was technically an error variant. And I was very cool with Merc, and I'm like, yeah, no worries, things happen. I didn't make a big deal of it. I think Scott shot me an email from Merc.
Mhm.
So, and I'm sure that you guys can grant me something that'll say, hey, it's an error. So when I send some of these to CGC, it'll be
Mhm.
on the label, which will mean they're more valuable. But I have all 10 of these guys. I have all 10 of these. This is number one. I'm probably gonna keep number one because I like that. And I'm
Mhm.
selfish that way. Unless you want this number one, I'll just send it to you. Um,
No. Yours, man. That's yours.
but
So
yeah,
what happened with that was foils and metals are limited to 20, almost always, right? Well, human error happens. That particular variant, the foil of the lingerie of the Shikari, that was posted as only limited to 10, and only 10 were sold. So it was
me.
posted as 10, only 10 were sold. Some maniac bought all 10 of them, and it comes time to fulfill the orders. The books say 1/20 on the front because that's what was supposed to be sold, what was supposed to be, but there's only 10. So we had two choices. We could have said, hey, everyone who bought this cover, in this case, it's one person, this guy, where you at over there, this guy, right? Um, we could have said, hey, everyone who bought this cover, you have a chance to we're offering you a refund because it was missold. There's actually 20 available. And we could have justified it by saying, look at the back cover. It says limited to 20. Look at the posting. It says limited to 20, blah, 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 blah. We could have done that, but I felt like that was kind of a jerk way to handle it. So what we decided to do was we said, hey, look, we're only going to ship 10 of these. The person that bought them, whoever that maniac is that bought all of them, probably bought them all because it was only limited to 10. So we're not going to ship the rest of these. We're going to destroy them. And the 10 that were sold are going to go to the person. We're sending them 1 through 10, and 11 through 20 are not going to make it out. So you happen to be the guy that bought all 10 of those. So congratulations. Congratulations, and we're sorry. And congratulations again.
No, I was cool with it because because I thought about it, and I thought about it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. And all I need is just like a letter or some, thing that I could put into the eBay description or talk about on whatnot, and like print out something that says, hey, this is the deal with it. And it's kind of a weird book now, and it's an error. And I'm like, this could be a little bit more valuable or a little bit more interesting. And I still have the whole control over the book. And so that was my thoughts. And I'm like, this is interesting, but I do need to explain it now. And but I didn't like, I was, because it is weird because I don't want to be a dick. Like, I hate to say this, like, because this happens sometimes where somebody prints out a book and then they just keep printing out the comic and the cover A over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And the whole point of having a limited 1 to 10 or a limited 1 to 20 is that there's only 20 of them in the world.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys printed out 10,000 copies of this, I'd be pissed.
So would I.
like, you'd be upset for a different reason.
Well, they're expensive.
if all of a sudden this was in Lunar, this cover, I would be upset if this was in previews.
Yeah.
I'd be like, wait a second, like the value of the book is diminished. Or even if, like, this is obviously a foil and that's what makes it cool, but like if all of a sudden foils like this were in Lunar, like in previews, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So
no, we'll never do that. We are doing a thing. I'll tell you something that we are doing. Here, I'll show this to you real quick. So I don't know if you can see how well you can see this, but this is the sorcery cover. You probably can't see it too well, but there's see the texture on there?
Yeah. I mean, I see some texture, yeah.
It's when you see it and feel it, those are raised little bubbles on there. It has a leather. This is the printer proof. The printer sent me. It's called a leather variant, is what they're calling it. It's this raised paper. It's not actually leather, but it has a leathery feel to it. So we're gonna do a vault edition of some of the best-selling covers, but it's not going to be this cover. It's going to have a frame around it. It's going to say Vault Edition underneath of it, and they're going to be limited to, on the back it'll say limited to 50.
Is it like a Zenoscope showcase?
Exactly.
Because I just run in 12 of those, and they're beautiful, and they feel funky. Actually, these don't feel funky because they're these silver hollow foils that Zenoscope did with custom showcases, and I had a 50% off coupon. So when you're buying a showcase that's $50 for 25, there's a lot of money to be made, but most showcases have that architecture like vibe to them and feel heavier, and it's clean paper, and you're buying a premium book, if that makes any sense. Because I would expect your vault book to be a premium book, right?
Yeah. Sorry, it's I'm 50 and I'm old. Yeah, it's gonna be a vault showcase book, exactly the same thing. It's gonna have a unique feel, look to it. Very specific number printed, low print run. I'm not trying, like you said, I'm very aware of the print runs of the books, how those covers exist. I'm not going back and doing. People have asked me, why don't you do a lenticular variant? Why don't you do a glow in the dark variant? Why don't you do a prism foil variant? And I'm like, look, there's a reason why the back covers are very specific. The back cover of this has exactly the variants that are going to be of this cover. We're the only ones that do this. There's other companies copying us now, but we're the only ones that put the exact print run on the back. If you look at the back of that, I know you've never opened it up, but on the back of that book you have, the Miss Meow, you'll see the cover gallery on the back, all the covers that are on there, how many were sold, what they're limited to. It's all on the book. Now, the leather will be very specifically different, and I'm aware of the fact that that's not on the initial back of the book, but that's why I don't go back and do a glow-in-the-dark variant and a 3D variant.
Let me ask this, because it irks me when people go back and they challenge and break, I guess, print runs, and they
Mhm.
change ratios. And you understand this where because you're running, because you just don't sell your books. I mean, you sell Marvel, DC in your
Yeah.
store, and you sell indies, and you understand ratios like a 1 to 25.
Yeah.
And my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that for every cover A, all 25, you get one of the 1 to 25. Is
For
my
any
understanding.
yeah, any cover you buy, it doesn't have to be cover A. Any cover you buy, if you buy so 1 in 50 and you buy 10 of A, B, C, and D, you get
I
the
was
ratio.
simplifying it, but point well taken. But essentially, it's whatever. If you buy 50 of a book and it's a 1 to 50 ratio, the 51st book being printed is that ratio. Is
Yes,
the
sir.
theory right?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
So all of a sudden, if you have a 1 to 5 on your Kickstarter, but you now printed a bunch of cover A's and you keep adding more and more cover A's and you don't differentiate between first, second, third print, you're changing that ratio number.
Mhm.
And I can't value your book in a fair position if I don't know your numbers.
You're
I'm a
correct.
numbers guy. I run my business a certain way,
Yeah.
and it makes it complicated in a lot of ways. And this is so I don't really feel that if you do an unlimited 50 archive leather, you know, vault book, that's a premium book, that's challenging a ratio variant. The same way that if you're just going to print every single variant all the time, there's companies that do that, which
Yep.
means that it's great. But if you could just click a button and order 40 copies of a book, I mean, it's a unlimited variant.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, man. You can't just keep or even recoloring a book and doing it. Now it has a blue background. Now it has a purple background. Now it has a green background. It's like, come on, man. Like, move on to the next cover. Don't keep going back to the well on some of those.
Like this right here is a 1 of 1. So this book will never be reprinted by Stupid Little Monkey.
Yeah.
And that makes this book very desirable. And I have no idea what this book should be priced at.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I like it. It's a personal book. And
Mhm.
it cost me $40. It was on Whatnot. So I took a $40 risk. But my point is that I don't know what that should be priced at. But
Yeah.
they're never going to put that on another book.
Yeah. That's
And that's
great.
very good. And I think it's very important if you say, hey, I'm never going to put that on a cover. Now, they might do a collection of their
Mhm.
covers, but that's not challenging the value. That's just allowing everybody to have a nice hardcover book
Yeah.
with an image in there. So,
Yeah. No, I agree, man. You're absolutely right. We think the same way a lot of this stuff. You can't you can. It's bad business, so you're gonna lose customers and lose fans if you devalue your own product, you know? Simple as that. So yeah, it's good.
and
Smart.
then yeah, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, that's just good thinking. It's smart.
And then I do want to ask you technically two more questions.
Sure.
Um, so I am curious how you feel about the entire comic industry because you have a unique perspective
Oh
because you
man.
are a comic store owner, a comic website owner. You do a lot of business, and I think it's okay for me to say that you do millions of dollars of sales because I think you do. You do way more than me on that front. I am doing very low 5 figures, maybe mid 5 figures a year on eBay, which is perfectly fine. We all start somewhere. I'm very
Yeah, good
happy
deal.
where I'm at. But and then obviously you also run a few publishers and a few massive creator outlets is a good way to put it between Merc, Black Ops, some legend stuff that you were doing
Yeah.
and being involved in somewhat tidal wave as well and assisting them. So you have a unique perspective on both sides of the aisle, which makes your opinion unique, I feel.
Man, that's a great question. So the industry as a whole, you know, there's so many different sides to the industry. The people that live and die by the FOC books, Marvel and DC, and they're Lunar and Penguin and Diamond, and they're ordering books every week. They're a different animal, really, than people who are self-publishing. They're different than people that are doing small exclusives on Whatnot or whatever. Like, it's really different universes. But the best word that comes to mind is the industry right now is very exciting because I think we're in the middle of a shift. I really do. Um, the Marvel and DC exclusives, in the past, you would see 1 or 2 stores sharing an exclusive. No secret, the print runs are 3,000 copies. I don't
3,000
care,
and 1,000 for the Virgin.
3,000, 1,000. I don't care who you are, it's almost impossible to sell 3,000 copies of anything as a retailer, especially for $14.99. But now you're seeing 5, 6, 7 stores partnering together to share a print run. And then they're still not breaking even until a month later after they sold the book. So there's a huge shift, and self-publishing is taken off. Look at it really is. But as you said earlier, excuse me, people are also learning that comics it's hard. It takes work. Some of the small fly-by-nighters, they're looking to make a quick buck. They've all kind of faded away, really, and good riddance to some of them. They're not helping the industry any. But if you're willing to work hard and have good ideas, good business practices, willing to make mistakes, pick yourself up, learn, continue to grow, it's a very exciting time to be in the industry because the potential, it's everywhere as long as you're creative and you have a good business brain, on your shoulders. So it's exciting.
Fair enough, fair enough. And which you have a way more positive outlook than I do, and several of the other people that I speak to. So it's actually refreshing. I'm not gonna lie, it's very refreshing. That was not the answer I was expecting.
Well,
So
I'll address something else real quick too, man. So, um, I hear the people that say the comic industry is dying and stores are closing and Marvel and DC suck and nothing sells anymore. You know, if one thing doesn't work, try something else. The publishers do it. If Ultimate Spider-Man, one of the best Spider-Man stories out there in years, they finally got it right. Right? I can't sell a Captain Marvel book for the life of me, but Ultimate Spider-Man is blowing up. Thundercats is blowing up. Transformers blowing up. So the publishers learn just like anything else. So somebody that complains about the industry, the state of the industry, what I tell them is you're complaining about your one small tiny perspective. Sales are down, this is dying, things aren't happening, blah blah blah. Look at Thundercats, number one. Look at the sales numbers on that. That was crazy how much they sold. How is a dying industry going to support an 80s cartoon property? The answer is it's not. So it's not dying. People are they're not being creative sellers, right? They're not doing like what you're doing, is finding hot products that retailers are selling and flipping them on different platforms for a profit. You probably made more than the average comics, than half of the comic shops in the country. You probably made more on your eBay store than they did last year.
I hope.
I'm just saying. So, I always take that with a grain of salt when someone complains. One of the first thing I want to say to them is, well, what are you doing? No one came into my store today. Did you go live on Facebook? Did you make a post? Did you go live on your Whatnot account? I don't do Whatnot. Why? Because you're an angry, grumpy old man,
I'm trying Whatnot, and my first 2 shows are not great, but
They're not.
I'm trying.
It takes time, man. But good for you. You're, like I said earlier, you're willing to work hard. You're willing to make mistakes. You're willing to pick yourself back up, dust yourself off. Sometimes there's 3 people in the room when you're talking. You got to pretend like you're on a stage full of 100,000 people because you're entertaining those 3 people.
WrestleMania on my show and all this stuff, and I'm having a good time. And I'm taking the approach of that. Look, if I don't even sell anything for 6 months, at least I'm producing an hour worth of content on my Friday night.
Yeah, there you go.
And you know what is? And what's crazy is that I'm selling a book for $40 on Whatnot. It's sold for $60 on my eBay store.
There you go.
Somebody explain this to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy to sell you the book cheaper on my Whatnot. Nobody's there. And
yeah.
And I'm like, great. I'm like, okay. And
different markets, man. Different markets,
but again, I find that the people who are complaining, it's like, great, what are you doing? I think you said it really well. And I'm like, great, what are you doing, my friend? And then like, I mean, a bunch of people are complaining, asked me to pitch you their books. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go do that. Like, and nothing against those people. I'm like, I don't think those books are complete books. Like,
Yeah, that's
I'm not
funny.
I'm not about to pitch somebody a book that I don't think is a good fit, or I'm not about to stick my neck out with something that I don't think is a good person, an attitude. And
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you get along with half these people that want their books and but like in your stores and working with you. But I'm like, I don't know, man. Like the attitude's part of the problem too.
exactly. It's the attitude. You can be, yeah, it's the attitude. It's how do you approach a situation? If you want to be a lazy seller and just jump up and down in front of the camera and scream, "Let's go," like, what the hell are you doing?
I've pitched and I've explained to people, say, hey, here's what I think you need to do is that you run 3 campaigns a year. What are you
Mhm.
doing the 4 months in between? Are you releasing a limited 100 print run? Are you doing this? Are you
Exactly.
doing that? Are you, building, stuff that's only con books that you do a 50 print run and only sell it at cons, not anywhere else? Are you building whatnot products that are only available on whatnots? You know,
Exactly. Are you
are you
innovating? Are you being creative? Are you thinking outside the box? Or are you just sitting there complaining? You
or
know?
yet, are you gonna I mean, I've said to people, "Would you like to do a cosign with me?"
Yeah.
Where I don't wanna pay for your merch, but I'll sell your merch and I get a percentage. And so if shipping is $10, whatever it is, shipping is excluded, we'll charge the buyer, but maybe, what is you grant me 25 bucks, and if I sell them for 45 bucks on eBay, I get 20% after fees.
Yeah.
And all these people just don't want to do it. And I'm just like, great, because I don't want to put capital into your thing and I want to mitigate my risk.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what's your time worth? Like we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. Why would I take all this time and energy to make X amount of money and instead take the time and energy, make X amount of money, but give you half or give you 75%, unless it's a superior product or I just need the product?
I don't mind making 20% if I don't have to lay out any cash. Because that's the key for me is that I'm getting product and I'm getting 20% for just selling your book. And to me, that's an idea position. Are you writing that idea down?
I got a message from somebody real quick.
But like that's how I feel is that I don't mind making less money if I don't have to put in as much capital.
Yeah. You're I mean, that's smart business too. Low risk, zero risk, zero investment. Best way to do it. Somebody is giving you product to sell and all you do is take a percentage of it. That could also be worth it too. It's different for me because I just have warehouses full of product. I don't need, you know, anyone to give me more product. That's the last thing I want. Unless we're buying a collection, like I don't want that's why we don't offer consignment. But for some people, look at the auction houses. They live on nothing but consignment, which is great. Good for them. It's just not
And
it's
and,
not,
and when
not
I
my
speak
model.
when I speak to Indy, I'm like, look, I don't want to buy your product because I would rather, and I'll be honest, I buy this book and this thing ran me, I think, 280 for all 10. Right? I don't mind taking a $280 risk. My issue is though, is that if you have an indie book that I don't know how it's going to perform, I want to co-sign it and I want to take a piece of it because I don't want to take any risk and I don't want to deploy capital, but I do have a network that I can sell to.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel because I don't believe in your product the same way.
Hmm.
And if, let's say, 4 issues in, it might change where I want to make more money and I will buy said product outright.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
good.
digress. It's
No,
a whole bigger issue.
but it's good. Again, you're innovating, you're thinking outside the box, you're thinking of more ways to make money with less risk. That's what a good business person should do.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
some people get it, some people don't. People have given me free product and free comics, like Preston Poulter with Pocket Jacks. He gave me 50 free comics to just throw in every single one of my orders
It's cool.
with a QR code because I think he offset prints. So he made the determination that it's more valuable for him to give out issue 4 of White Lily,
Hmm.
not issues 1, 2, or 3, but give out issue 4 with a QR code because guess what happens? Somebody gets a free comic that they're not expecting, saying, "What the hell is White Lily?" And they get the QR code, and then they sign up for his email list.
Yeah, it's great.
And I've tried this with other people on Kickstarter. I'm like, guys, you have legitly 50,000 stickers. Don't you want to create a QR code flyer and I'll sticker it into my packages, and you're now in an eBay market that you weren't in before?
Yeah. Yeah. Hit me up on that. It's a good idea. I'll take you up on that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I am more than happy to help you out in any which way. It's good for me. It's good for you. I don't charge anybody for that because it's a really smart idea when you're shipping out 500 to 700 comics that people have no idea what anything is.
Yeah.
QR code flyer with some stickers, bam. And then I get a free sticker out of it. Oh, I'm sold.
Yeah. I used to tell people the same thing. I used to say, hey, send me flyers, mail them. Oh, that's cool.
See, the sticker wore off.
Yeah,
so I
dude.
need a new one. Comics Elite can be right here on my iPhone all the time.
I tell people, just send Comics Elite. We ship out thousands of packages a week. Like, send me 10,000 flyers. We'll put them in there. My people, customers love to get free stuff when they open up their packages. Who cares if it's an advertisement? It's a free thing. I'll do it I'm not charging you for that. Of course, it takes me no time to put a little thing in there when I ship it. The fans love it. My customers love it. I get free advertising. It's a win-win. So hit me up, brother. Send me a message on Facebook, and we'll do that for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I look forward to it. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then I want to back out of this. And I don't know if you're a wrestling fan. Otherwise, I'll change the question. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan lately.
So I grew up watching wrestling. I don't know the current guys so much, but
I mean, do you know what's going on with WrestleMania?
What's happening with WrestleMania?
We have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns and The Rock, night 1.
Okay.
And then night 2, we have Cody versus Roman, and night 1's going to determine if it's bloodline rules or if it's the bloodline is banned from ringside for night 2.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I gotta tell you, man, I grew up in the heyday. Of course, I grew up watching Hulk Hogan and defeat Andre the Giant, WrestleMania, all that stuff. But NWO and Goldberg and those guys, man, those were my heyday wrestling days watching that stuff. Now I'm so busy, man. I don't have time to watch. I just started watching the NFL again.
Everybody's a wrestling fan right now, and it's like the best thing. And that company has solved the greatest problem ever, where they came out of a really horrific situation with Vince McMahon that is not good, and they just completely swerved left and right. And oh my God, they have us all fooled. But I'll ask a different question then. So. Sure. We're in the middle of baseball season, sort of has officially started. We're March Madness, baseball season has officially started. But I am curious where you think the Colts are going to be, because I think you are a Colts fan.
I am a Colts fan. We have season tickets to the Colts. We've been going for a while now. It's if we can get Richardson healthy. So here's the key: we got a good coach. Period. We should not have gone as far as we did with Minshew as a quarterback. We should not have gone as far as we did with Minshew as a quarterback. Period. We were right there at the playoffs. We were right there. So if we get Richardson healthy, I think it's going to be a good year. I'm pretty excited about it. We got Flacco as a backup. The way Richardson's playing, he thinks he's a running back. We may need him. So it's a good backup. We couldn't afford to keep Minshew. Good for him. He deserves to go to a good team. We'll see. I think we got as good a shot as anybody,
I don't know. I'm not a Colts fan.
That's okay. It's okay. So I was born and raised in Illinois, so I'm truly a Bears fan. That's my number one team. But I live in Indianapolis now. We go to all the games, so I've of course adopted the Colts. The Chargers were my number 2 fan. I lived in San Diego for 20 years. I used to go to the Chargers games when they were the San Diego Chargers before they ditched the town and went up to LA. But so yeah, I just love football, period. So I do like the Colts a lot. They're my number 2. Bears always have my heart. It's a hard life being a Bears fan. I'll tell you that.
It is. I will grant you that. The Colts have Peyton, right, for a while.
Yeah.
I'm a big Peyton Manning fan. I'm a big Eli Manning fan. Yeah. So Leaf Metal did a Peyton Manning Sheriff card.
Nice.
So I'll happily send you one of those if you want one.
Man. That's all I got. I got a lot of Peyton Manning signed stuff. I got a Hall of Fame football signed by
It's
him.
not
I got some
signed,
helmets.
but it's done by this Japanese artist, and very cool. And it's Peyton Manning as the sheriff, and then they just released Eli, and Eli's feeding 2 goats. That is better than anything else that Leaf L has ever.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm asking like $36 for the Eli's, and I'm keeping one for myself because I'm a Giants fan. And
Yeah,
I thought that was funny. And I'm like, oh my God, this is such a troll. It's
that
such
is
a
funny.
troll. And he's feeding them in like 2 divided footballs in half, and their grass is in. Oh, it's so amazing. It's like,
that's fucked up.
I mean, so
Good.
let me ask this. So Peyton is a Hall of Famer,
Yeah,
without a doubt, right?
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Is Eli a Hall of Famer?
You know, I think he should. I think he is. I think he is.
I think you got to put him in. He won 2 Super Bowls, and he beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowls, and he spoiled 18 victories, 1 giant loss.
Yeah. You know, if he didn't win the 2 Super Bowls, I would say no. But you got 2 rings, man. How do you not put the guy in the Hall of Fame? You know?
I agree. I think you have to put him in. I think he's gonna be. I think technically he's borderline because he's a 500 quarterback, but he's a winner.
Yeah, he knew how to win. I mean, what year was it they took him from the wild card spot all the way to the Super Bowl? I mean,
That was, I think, the first one. I think that was the first one because that was the kick in Green Bay.
Yeah, they barely made it into the playoffs, and then all the way to Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. I mean,
I'm actually not sure which one that was because the game where it was the last game and the Giants played the Patriots in the regular season, and the Giants almost beat the Patriots that game, which was crazy.
Yeah.
But then I think they went on the road through Green Bay, and it was wild. So
yeah, I mean, who can forget like the catch on the helmet, like such iconic moments, you know?
The safety
Yeah.
games, whether they sacked Brady in the end zone, and then
Yeah.
once that happened, the game was over.
Yeah.
Once that happened, first play, the game was done.
That'd be interesting to see how many teams even have gotten a safety off Brady. You know, for all the years he played, you think there'd be a few, but I'm sure there's not that many.
I mean,
I want to go to Google so bad, start looking this shit up, but we ain't got time to turn it into a whole football show. It's interesting.
But again, I'm a big football fan, and I know the Giants are going to be pitiful. I know they're going to be pitiful. I think you get rid of Daniel Jones, and that's what you got to do. I would have rather kept Tyrone Taylor, I think it was, and Tommy DeVito, and I think the Giants would have been better off. And I think that they should have bumped up Saquon to 45 for 3 years. He went to the Eagles, and I think that was the mistake. Is that great, guys? Just eat the fat on Daniel Jones and move on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what's interesting about the year is I played fantasy for years, man. I was a huge fantasy football guy, and once I started the businesses, all fun went out the window for years. And I'm starting to have fun doing other stuff outside. Don't get me wrong, I have fun doing comics, but doing other stuff besides comics again. So it's interesting for sure to see, you know, by week 4, all plans are out the window and the teams are different, and then the trade deadline hits, and you know, who would have thought your team would be where they are? You know, I mean, how many teams come alive even in just December? They suck during the year, and then all of a sudden in December they start playing good, and then the planets align, they make it to the playoffs, and you're like, who's in the playoffs? Like, how did they get here? Like, you know.
Let's just say that the Dolphins learned a very valuable lesson why home field advantage matters.
Oh yeah.
Because Dolphins do not play well in snow.
Nope.
Oh, that I love that joke. I'm sorry. I love that joke.
It's true though.
I must say I put a lot of money on the Chiefs versus Baltimore, and oh my God, did I make a fortune that day?
Good for you.
They were a plus 110.
Yeah. Well, they didn't cover the spread, did they? I don't think they covered the spread.
I just bet the money line.
Yeah, I hit this. I had the spread bet, so I didn't.
I
That
bet the
was
money
cool
line
too.
people thought I was crazy, and a bunch of people were like, "No, you're wrong." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so." And
Hey, man, the Chiefs, no, they're like Manning or like Peyton or not Manning, like Eli. They know how to win.
they know how to win in that magical little Patrick Mahomes. He is a magical wizard.
God, that guy does not look like a starting quarterback in the NFL, does he?
No, he does not, but he definitely knows how to sell insurance.
That's what he looks like. Insurance salesman. He looks
But
like a
that
dude.
yeah, what were you saying?
He looks like a dude you pick a fight with at a bar because prove how tough you are.
Him and Kelsey. Oh my God, Travis Kelsey is way underpaid. He makes like $7 million a year. It's insane.
Yeah, well, if he ties a knot with Taylor, he never has to worry about money again, right?
Oh my God, what he brought to her, he brought her America, without a doubt.
Hmm.
I make the argument that he brought more to that relationship than she did.
Yeah, clout wise, I'd
He,
say, yeah,
he, he brought her America
yeah.
because the unifier in America right now is Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift. That is the unifier in America right now.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but come on, man, look at the go into any Facebook group and to post a picture of a Taylor Swift cover and look at all the literal hate you will get from the comic bros that are scared of Taylor Swift that think it's all garbage and crap and they're so tired of Taylor Swift and they throw
It's
little
fine.
fit.
I respond back and I say she made me a lot of money. I
Yeah,
put up. You might not have seen the post. I put up the post that said Taylor Swift funded my Roth IRA.
nice.
I mean, you guys were partially responsible for that.
Yeah, she made a lot of people a lot of money, that's for sure.
She
That's
made me a lot of money on those books. Tidal Wave made me a lot of money
it's
on
good.
those books. And people thought I was crazy. And I'm like, I don't think you guys got it yet.
Yeah,
And
a
I
lot
have.
of people missed that boat. They were too snooty. They're too, I'll sell what sells. If everybody tomorrow decides they like the the most woke lefty comic you could possibly imagine, they all want to see transgender Captain America dressed like Dylan Mulvaney drinking Bud Light while he's getting surgery, and the whole world says they like that. Looks like we're making covers of that.
One of my favorite covers was of it was AOC and something by Keen Spot.
Hmm.
And it was a Newberry Comics cover, and they did, AOC as like Princess Peach and Mario, all eight
Okay.
printed out, fighting. I think they had Mitch McConnell as a Kappa, they had Trump as a Bowser, and then they had like Peach trying to save Mario as the White House.
Yeah.
Oh my God, $10 cover. And I was so happy I got one. There's 500 of them. My mom, I'm like, yo, mom, if they got this in Newberry, just buy it for me and I'll pay you back later. Because she was in the mall and she's like, yeah, we got it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a great cover.
Nice.
And it's a decently expensive cover. It's like maybe like a $40 cover on eBay, give or take.
Right.
But
Yeah.
my point is that people obviously like it. So
Yeah.
again, I was pissed that I did not get the foil version of the one you guys released or Tidal Wave released on Super Bowl Sunday. I got the 4, but I didn't get the other 2, and I missed the Shikari, Supergirl one in metal and
Mhm.
foil. But I got my 2 sets of that.
Yeah.
Greg Horn stuff, which was cool.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, and I even raised the print run on those to, 100 foils. 100 foils and 50 metals, and they still sold out super, super fast. I'll tell you a secret. There's a Dazzler variant of the Shikari Super Bowl cover coming out for C2E2. So if you're on the Tidal Wave site, make sure you sign up for those emails because the announcements will be coming out for those.
I will absolutely do it, and thank God that you could break things up on a firm in 4 payments.
Yeah. Hey, Shop Pay is a great thing. I think I have Klarna on there too. Klarna and Shop Pay. Between those two, there's lots of ways to make payments.
You could break it up into 6 months, a year, 2 years.
That's awesome.
I prefer the 2 weeks because you don't pay any interest,
Oh, that's smart.
but the interest on 6 months is only $6.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
If you want something and you want a little bit more agency and you want to make it in 6 payments and not 4, you could breathe very differently because making $90, if you buy a $200 item, it's $31 every month,
Yeah.
and that includes interest over 6 months, or you could pay $90 every month, every
Okay.
2 months. So
Hey, it's no reason, no wonder why your businesses are successful, because you're definitely a good numbers guy, and that's a rare thing in this industry, man. Having somebody that understands the numbers. Most people just want the cool cover. I want a cool cover, man. Okay, that's cool. Good luck.
I'm a stock investor. That's why. And I have a lot of stock, and I leverage out what I do in my eBay business into buying good growth dividend stocks that pay me monthly, quarterly, yearly, or every 6 months distributions.
So are you shorting Bitcoin or not?
I think it's gonna swing up to about 75 after
Uh-huh.
the halvening. Then I think it's gonna stay there and fluctuate between 70 and 82.5. Then I think it's
Okay.
gonna drop down. So I'm actually, and it might even go higher than that. I'm probably actually gonna sell out of Bitcoin and wait for
Mhm.
it to come back down.
I almost sold at 73. Um, and I waited because I heard BlackRock's buying more of their EFTs. Now we're talking about Bitcoin. But I almost sold at 73. I'm glad I didn't, even though it's currently at, I'm looking at it right now, it's
I think
currently at 67
yeah.
right now. So I'm glad I didn't. ETH is way up to 35. It's the highest it's been in a long time. I got a
I have
bunch of
more
SHIB.
Ethereum than I have Bitcoin. I have very little Bitcoin considering, but I mean I'm up like 12,000%.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
everybody's way up. You cannot. I got a little bit of Sol, I got a little bit of ETH. I got way more Bitcoin because of the halving coming up. Um,
I think the halving's gonna be interesting. That's what, April 14th?
I think so, yeah.
So it was supposed to be for 420. It got moved by 6 days up because of
Yeah.
transactions on the block. I'm more interested in ETH right now, and I'm
Mhm.
a really big Cosmos slash sorry,
Okay.
I'm fan. And then I am a big Immutable X fan
Okay.
because
Interesting.
I like gaming tokens, and then I'm also ICP heavy.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I
You can
should look into some of those. I had some of the gaming tokens. I sold them during
So what do you use to buy your crypto?
just Coinbase cash.
Because I use Coinbase, and what I love about Coinbase is, and the reason why I accumulate a lot of this stuff is that I've been on Coinbase for like 7 years, and so I've got all this free stuff and the learn stuff, and then I just
Oh,
take
the
that
learn stuff, yeah.
and then I just convert that in. But all of a sudden, when you've been doing it long enough, you get like $600 over the course of this stuff, and then you convert.
Nice.
But like
Nice.
Cosmos slash Adam pays 9.22% every week.
Wow. On with Adam? That's
Yeah,
some of the biggest staking I've seen. That's nuts.
so that's staking, but that's on Coinbase. If you go off of Coinbase and you get into like ledgers and wallets and stuff, like I forgot what it was. I think it was like Static came out of a Cosmos slash Atom, and then a bunch of other stuff's come out of it, and you got a bunch of free airdrops. But I don't want to touch anything because I had a really bad experience with a wallet.
Mm.
I've lost like $600 in a wallet that got
W
hacked and
was it
drained.
a MetaMask wallet?
It was, and I lost my NFT, and I was very upset about it.
Yeah, I don't use MetaMask wallets anymore because I know a ton of guys that lost a lot of MetaMask wallet. I have the obviously the Coinbase wallet. Um, so here's an idea I want to buy you real quick. And then I got to go.
And we're
But
live, so you might not want to run it by me. We could.
that's okay. Here, what would you think of this? Imagine a website like Comics Elite. Now I'm going to say the evil word, but I'm going to say another word after it. You have to have an NFT, right? To get into the website, you gotta have a wallet linked in your, you know how it works. So you have a wallet in your browser with the NFT in it that locks you access. So it's a NFT with utility to it. That's the
Yep.
good word. Well, a lot of people don't understand in the comic world. You hear NFT and they think VV or they think as a picture, or they don't understand the utility behind some of these NFTs. So imagine there's only 50 released a year. So only 50 of these NFTs. You have to have it to get into this website. That website has either super special discounted deals, exclusive covers, et cetera, in that website. Then eventually there's a token made, right? And that token is, of course, airdrop to holders of the NFT. And then every year or so, there's another 50 added until it gets to a certain point, and there'll never be more than 500 of those NFTs, because assuming everybody has one, a print run would never be above 500 for a comic, right? The nice Shikari variants are 400 right now. So imagine that universe.
I could one up you on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the utility side of it, but what if you even went further and you said, cool, you have an NFT, and then every year we're going to airdrop you digitals. And
Mhm.
then now those become airdropped NFTs that are minted that then can also be traded on it, but those also have variants.
Mhm. Yeah, that's kinda like what Vivi did. You could have a chance to get a gold or a whatever one, but yeah, you could have a chance to get,
My
it's
friend who I bought the
Mhm.
NFT and his project was a Break Run. Nima
Mhm.
Ashford down in Australia. So
Okay.
what he did is that he did a fully glow in the dark comic. So it's a comic that the cover is blacklit. That's been done before. But I don't know if this ever, you might know this more than I do, but has a comic ever been done where the whole
I
comic is backlit?
I've never heard of one. That's super expensive. Like,
This is why this was the NFT. The NFT was like 170. The NFT was point to Ethereum. This
okay.
was this was like a year and a half ago. So Ethereum was way cheaper, but still relatively expensive plus gas fees. So you buy the NFT and you get the comic. So in the dark, you put your black light on it, and now you're seeing something that isn't in the book in the
That's
day.
cool.
I've never heard of anything like this before.
No, that's pretty cool. But
So
what
I
I like about that is, like you said, is what's unique in the NFT world and the token airdrop world is there's a physical product that goes with it. The reason people are so turned off, especially, the Gen X, my guys, the Gen X guys that are collectors that have long boxes of comics, they want that physical thing they can touch and collect and look through their long box, and they can read it and sell it and ship it. It's physically collecting and owning things, right? I think it's going to be generations away until someone's okay putting on a VR headset and walking around through their digital world, pointing at their gallery saying, "Oh, you got the gold one of one variant of this cover. Oh man, that's great." And once you take the headset off, it doesn't exist anymore. Like, I think that's generations away. So there's a couple of challenges to that. Step one is you have to train, your buyers, right? So you have to train your buyers as to why the word NFT is not a bad word, right?
yeah.
Why should you not be terrified? An NFT is not just a picture of a thing. It's something that has functionality and utility. Pretty soon, as you know, if you're into this world too, pretty soon you're going to be issued digital things. You'll have an NFT that starts your card from your phone. It'll all be based, your birth certificate, driver's license will be an NFT on the blockchain because it's unforgeable. It's 100% verifiable for all eternity. Your mortgage and your house will be an NFT. Your bank account will be in Web3 somewhere that'll be based on a blockchain. Like, this is
You know,
where we're all going, man. You know this.
why do you think I'm a big fan of ICP? ICP is the Web3 position, and it's a really, really big altcoin right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not again, I'm not huge into NFTs. I would rather own the straight crypto and the straight tokens.
Yeah.
Because I had a really bad experience with an NFT. I didn't lose huge amounts of money, but it was very upsetting, and it was a rough weekend to put
Yeah.
it. Like a lot of things happened that weekend that definitely realigned my positions on my
Yeah.
personal. But so maybe it's not so much the NFT. It's just that when 10 things go wrong all at once.
You've associated with all that negativity. I get you.
Yeah, when your dog almost dies and then your wallet gets hacked, it's hard to separate the two things going on.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
She made it. She needed to have emergency surgery like 2 years ago when my wallet got hacked. And oh my God, we didn't know if she was gonna make it. Very scary.
Oh man.
Also when the bill is $10,000 too, and
Whew.
your dog makes it, it's a little bit better if your dog didn't make it. Um,
That's a tough pill to
she's a
swallow.
Cross Cavalier Spaniel. So,
Mm,
so she's a royal expensive dog. Um, she's a purebred, which is even crazier. So her parents were champions. But anyway, the point is that I agree, but I just want to own the tokens. I'd rather own the tokens than
Yeah.
anything else. But again, that's how I feel. But that's a whole different thing. But I think Bitcoin is here to stay. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if you have time. Watch the Raul Paul versus Peter Schiff on Tom Bayou's podcast. 3 hour debate.
Okay.
3 hours, and oh my god, do they talk about some crazy shit on that
Okay.
interview about
Interesting.
Bitcoin versus gold. And you think 3 hours is a lot for this? They could have gone for another 6.
I love debates. I love that kind of stuff, man. I think if we live close together, we'd be good friends because we like the same nerdy shit. I have to catch up on the wrestling shit, but we like the same
It's
nerdy
interesting.
shit.
I was terrified to interview you, and I don't know why, but I'm like, oh, I think Sean's gonna kill me. Like,
Nah, I'm harmless, man. I'm harmless.
but again, I don't want to occupy any more of your time. We've been speaking for a while, and I appreciate it because I know how busy you are. I'm surprised you even answered my message to you, but I am very happy with this interview. I'm happy that I'm allowed to buy print runs out from you guys.
Congrats.
I again, I'm going to be shooting Merc a message because all I need is just a little bit of just. I need a position that I could tell my buyers to not fret. That it
No,
says
I got a couple ideas for what we can do to take care of you. Just send Scott an email, let him know you talk to me. Scott will talk to me. I'll work something out. We'll get it done up and get it over to you. So
yeah,
we'll take
yeah,
care of
yeah.
you.
I just want to cover my ass, and I just want to make my life easier. And I don't want to make you go reshoot out a whole print run because that to me would be too extensive. And
Yeah. And just that's one of those cases where I very rarely take a hard line on something. But if somebody, let's just say you were somebody else, if somebody would have said, hey, this needs to be redone, this is bullshit, I would have said, well, sorry, but we're not doing that.
I would have responded. Let me explain to you the email that I would have done. I said, hey guys, I know that this was an error. What can we do to just protect me and make sure my buyers are aware?
Perfect.
That's not a hard line, right?
No, that's
You said
perfect.
we're gonna refund you your money, send the books back. I'd be like,
Yeah.
whoa.
No,
But
that's great. And I love working with people like that. I do it all the time. Like it, as you know, you sell on eBay, so the customer service world. There are some complete total ass clowns out there that are just gigantic jerks. They think they're entitled to the world. This comic had a very slight nick on it. Okay, it's still a 9.6 to 9.8, right? There's a little tiny blemish on, not a spine tick that's breaking color, a little tiny thing that you can't see unless you have a magnifying glass. And you're like, I didn't promise you a 10.0 comic. I promised you a 9.8 comic. And anyway, there's a lot of jerks out there. And if someone's a jerk, I will just gladly say, here's your money back. Keep the books. You're blocked from the website. Have a great life. I'll never buy from you again. Good. I don't care if someone's a jerk,
I try not to be that way. But then again, I've had things where like the book was like really crumpled in and like the corner was like, I can't like when a book
Oh
is
yeah. Well, at that point,
a 7.5.
at that point, I don't want that book out there in that condition. I want you to, hey, I tell people all the time, rip the book in half, send me a picture, and then I'll send you a replacement. I don't even want you to send the book back. That's too much of an inconvenience for everybody. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to rip it in half and throw it in the garbage. So tear it in half.
One issue. I think I've had one book from you guys that was a problem. And it was taken care of.
Yeah, that's the key. Everybody makes mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. I promise we're going to mess up orders. It's going to happen because humans are working this business. But it's how you handle those mistakes.
It was taken
right?
care of. It wasn't an issue. And I was like, okay, cool. And you guys took care of it. And you sent me a new copy and it was fine.
It's good to hear. I like it.
I probably have the book too up here. I probably have the book and it's a great book. It's this one.
Oh man, the Peach.
I love that book. I love that book. I made a lot of money on that book too.
He did a great job on that cover. That one flew under the radar. I'll tell you, a lot of times Black Ops
$90 book is what I sold it for.
Well, Black Ops and Merc don't have the traffic that Comics Elite does. So if a cover, that's why I kind of started launching books on both platforms. But
that one on Comics Elite.
Yeah, if something sells out on on Black Ops or on Comics Elite, sometimes I'll take some from Black Ops and put them on that on Comics Elite's website. But most time, I just let it sit. So there could be a big, healthy chunk of a print run sitting on Black Ops that nobody knows that website even exists. So guys like you can get in there, but swoop them, buy what you need to, put them on eBay, make a ton of money. I ain't mad at you, man. Go for it. Makes me happy.
I'm probably gonna calm down for the next week. I gotta pay some debt down, and I gotta figure out before I go bankrupt. Because your books will sell, but sometimes it takes longer than I want them to.
Yeah, sometimes slow burn, especially when it first comes out. Everybody has them up. You know how it is.
It's also the idea that in like 3 weeks I'm doing Whatnot Power Hour style, so that's gonna be fun.
Nice.
I don't think anybody's going to come into my Whatnot, which is going to be great. But I digress. But enough about that. This is not about me, but I do want to give you a chance to promote yourself. Where can people find you, bother you, hit you up?
You know what? Just go to comicselitecomics.com. You can find almost everything there. Comics Elite Comics. We got links to the Kickstarter up there. If not today, they will be tomorrow. For Double Impact. Double Impact's going to be exciting. If you really want to see some cool stuff, go to Black Ops Publishing and Merc Publishing. Also, they're all sister companies of Comics Elite, but flip sides of the same coin. However, they are definitely different sides. So lots of cool stuff out there. Love all the support. I'm so grateful for every person that's ever bought anything from us because it just enables us to continue to make cool stuff. You know, if nobody supports us, I can't pay people. I can't hire a new artist. I can't pay my mortgage, so I stopped making stuff. So luckily, everyone that supports, it's like a giant crowd fund, right? Everyone supports it, we get to make more stuff. Everybody supports it, we get to make more stuff. So I love the fandom. I love our buyers and sellers, and it's super fun, man. We get to do this for a living, which is super cool.
I get to do it for a side hustle, so I'm jealous.
Hey, you're probably from what you said, you're doing very well at your side hustle, sir. Congratulations.
I am doing well enough, and then I don't see the fruit of that today, but I'm 31, and when I retire, I will have a lot of money to be absolutely free. So,
bro, I started this when I was 43. So you are way ahead of the game. Way ahead of the game. You're smart. You're innovating. Hey, I'm a fan of Andrew the Investor Davis.
I am a fan of Shawn, so there we go. I say that because, again, I started out selling $2 Lego minifigs from Target.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's how I started out. So, but that's a different show for a different day. And if anybody wants to interview me, they know where to find me. And I guarantee you, I will be entertaining, charming, and funny. But I am not Johnny Depp, so I want to make that crystal clear. But because I am definitely not getting sued by AH anytime soon.
Yeah, I hear you. Good for you.
And 2 is okay. It wasn't great.
That's funny.
But enough about that because I do want to promote myself. This is my eBay store. And that elf may or may not be in a board game soon. So be on the lookout for that on Kickstarter, potentially in April. So that is my eBay store. So come shop with us on eBay, Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. I sell books like this in my store. I don't know. So nice. I sell cards like this, but apparently people are telling me they can't see it. So I didn't see anything. Did you see anything?
I know what you're talking about. All I saw was a Taylor Swift comic.
And then I also sell books from Mount Olympus, and I bought out this print run too. All cool. 15 of those. That's actually a Whatnot exclusive. So my Whatnot is Pop Anime Comics. I have this as well. I have all 10 of these, and these are error books. So I want to make that crystal clear. So that's the official position on that. And I have others coming as well that are definitely exclusive. And again, my social media is Pop Anime Comics, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pop Anime Comics, TikTok. And I speak to a lot of people. And I will say this, I am having Bill Mouse and Steve Stern on next week.
Cool.
So I'm having Steve for the second time. I had him with Lamar Supreme the first time. And Lamar is a fascinating individual and one of the coolest artists who's been around that nobody knows.
Nice.
Bill Mouse. I've never met Bill Mouse, but I'm excited to interview Bill Mouse. So
that's cool.
With Steve Stern. So Zen is a great book. in a lot of ways, and it's a classic.
It
It's
is classic, yeah.
30 plus years old,
Been
I think.
around for a minute.
So that's everything I got, and Pop Anime Comics is everything that I do, conversations in pop culture, and that's everything I got. And I'm just here to entertain everybody. And if you want to buy from me, that's great. If you don't, no worries. But I will say this: that I will match anybody who has this book in holofoil, their price. But
Nice.
but I digress. I do want to give you the final word, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me. Keep killing it. Keep crushing it. Thanks for the support. And don't forget to subscribe, guys.
Well, I don't think I could have said that any better myself, everybody. And that is a